In this video, you are gonna see an awesome gator hunt that we were able to do in 2020. It was on both of our bucket lists, and we were able to make it happen last year, and I highly recommend if you have the chance to do it, because it is a lot of fun, for sure. I remember we were planning a girls trip to Florida.
Yeah.
Go to the beach, and then we kind of just planned it, and it was going to be about 3 weeks out, and it kind of all just came together.
Yeah, I remember you coming down to my office and saying, what if we went on a gator hunt when we were in Florida? And I remember thinking, oh, okay, I'm in, like hesitant, but yeah, let's do it.
Yes. And we quickly started finding some outfitters and found out that there was an outfitter down only a couple hours. Actually, I don't even think it was a couple hours. It was pretty close to where we were, Townsend and Sons. And they had some openings, so we booked our flight, booked our alligator hunt, and we were off to Florida.
Yeah.
I think as we arrived, we were, we had set it up to be the first hunt, or the first day when we were down there we were going to hunt, and we packed our stuff up in our little blue car and headed off into the wilderness. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what are we getting ourselves into? But let's go.
Yeah, we were far away from anybody and everything, it seemed like.
Yes, we were driving down some windy, small roads, and I'm sure that they were all probably thinking, what are we doing with these girls in this little tiny blue car going on a gator hunt? I don't think they know what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
Yeah, and we pulled up. They were very welcoming. We met Daniel and Jeb, and they put everything in their Ranger, and we kind of all climbed in and headed off into the swamp.
Yes. I remember when we got in that side-by-side, I think we were with Eric at that time, and just driving through the swamp, and you could see, it seemed like hundreds of gators everywhere.
Yes.
And you could just see their eyes poking up out of the water, and they were so close, it seemed like, because what we were driving on was so narrow.
Yeah, it was like barely wide enough for our side-by-side. Like, I mean, if you were to go either way. And I remember going through that swamp area that was like, a little flooded, and I'm thinking, we're not going to get through this.
Right.
And I'm not getting out.
Right. I remember asking Eric, I remember just worried about, this gator is right here. Are they going to jump up and just attack us?
Right.
And so I remember asking him, do they just come up out of the water and will they just attack you? And he's like, oh yeah, they will. They'll get you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That wasn't the answer you were looking for.
No, it wasn't the answer I was looking for. I was thinking, no, they'll be fine. If you don't harm them, they won't harm you, But no, it was not the answer I was looking for.
No.
But I remember scooting closer to the center of the side-by-side.
Yeah. And I think after that we kind of made it out into a clearing. We got to see all the nests where all the gators had laid their eggs and stuff, and that was really cool. And we weren't able to hunt in that swampy area because there were so many trees, and they were concerned that if they got out too far and got tangled into something, they would not be able to retrieve the gator. So they took us out around the edges of the swamp, and it was kind of more of like a water ravine. And I feel like we were like barely pulling up, and they kind of all just jumped out really fast and casted the line clear out. And I think within a couple minutes we had one snagged.
Yes. And
handed us the pole, and
handed you the pole and said, here you go.
Here you go, good luck.
Right? Wish you the best.
Yes.
Keep it tight.
Okay.
Pull up, reel down. Yep, and then just pull up. You can use both hands if you need to, and then reel down.
Oh, this is like spoonbill fishing.
There you go. Same thing, except it'll eat you.
Yeah.
And at that point, I thought I knew how hard it was going to be. And after we started going, and I started reeling in, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much harder. And it felt like it was like 30 minutes at this gator. It was just, he was not getting in. And every time that I feel like I would get in close, the line would just, and I remember just seeing the bubbles like going clear across. And I think I finally got him in close enough, but it was where we were at, it was so deep that there was so much like water grass, and the gator was just like locking his feet into the ground, and I couldn't get him in any closer.
They're strong, man.
Yeah.
Real strong. Pulling real hard.
Okay.
Reel all the way down and pull up. Pull up. All right, now pull up with both hands. Real steady.
remember Jeb kind of reaching down with one of the poles, and he's trying to like rake the grass out of the way so that I can get this gator pulled in. And I felt like I was in a standstill for probably like a couple minutes of just not getting anywhere with this gator. And he kept, they were all very encouraging. It's okay, you're fine. Keep the line tight. And at this point I was like, I'm ready to hand this off. Like, are you ready to take over? Because I am exhausted. And I think at that point the gator finally popped his head up, and I was like, wow, this is an awesome gator. This is a gator I want to shoot. Like, this is the one. And Jeb kind of kept coaching me along, like, pull him over here. And we got him up close enough that I remember handing the pole to you, and they're like, all right, go down there and grab his tail and pull him in. And I'm like, he's alive. He's alive. And so they're like, it's fine. And so we kind of walked over, and they kind of had set the pole to where like he couldn't swing around. And I remember grabbing him, and he's like, all right, pull him in. And I pulled and nothing happened. I pulled again and nothing happened. And finally they're like, okay, we'll pull him in a little bit. And then I feel like it happened so fast. Eric handed me the gun. They told me to shoot in the upside down frown, which is right behind the skull, and there's no bone structure there. And they gave me the gun. I aimed and I shot, and sure enough, his head went down, and he completely relaxed his body, and we pulled him in. I think everybody was like hooping and hollering at that point.
Yes.
But and then I got to do my warrior pictures. I remember one of the things I want to do is to throw him over my shoulders and like hold him in. I think they kind of looked at me like, what?
Yes.
I was like, yes, please. And
yes.
So we got him up on my shoulders, and I got several pictures, and I think my legs hurt for like a week after that.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure you were sore.
Yeah, and then we loaded him up and put him in the back of the Ranger, and it was your turn.
It was my turn. Yep. I remember being so nervous after seeing you struggle and the fight that it put up. But yeah, he got one hooked, I think, pretty much right away. After that, we went kind of to a little different area. And yeah, I started reeling that in, and you feel like you're just fighting for your life almost.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you feel like you're getting nowhere. But yeah, I started reeling that one in and got that one. I think I got that one all the way, or pretty close to the bank. And then Jeb went up to unhook it after falling in the water.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know what happened, but for some reason that one got loose. And yeah, so then it was off to get another one.
Yeah. And at that point, I don't think you knew you were going to catch two more.
No. If I would have known, I probably would have given in at that time. But yeah, so then shortly after that, we went to a little different area, and I think Jeb had one snagged over there. And so I remember him saying, this is a big one.
Yeah.
And he handed me the pole, and just trying to hold that, like just trying to keep the tension on it, not even reeling it in, but just the fact of keeping the tension on the pole. That's work in itself.
Oh yeah.
And then when you figure in you have to reel and then pull it up again, it's just to do that, it takes every bit of the strength you have in you. But so yeah, I got that one. I feel like I got that one close to the bank, and then it just kept going out, and it would latch itself onto the bottom, and could not get anywhere with it. I could tell it was a really big one. And so then Dan came in, and they were going to hook it again and try to get two hooks on it, and both of us reeling it in. And I remember it took him forever. It took him a couple casts, 2 or 3 casts, I think, or maybe even more than that, to even get it hooked again. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, like we don't have all day. I'm just trying to hold this thing, and scared that it's going to pull me into the water, you know. And he finally got it hooked, and I think together we both reeled it in and got it up to the bank. And then I think it took Jeb a couple times to get the rope around it.
Yeah.
And he got a rope around it, and then they had to hook it to the Ranger. So then I didn't feel as bad for not being able to get it in. You have to get a Ranger to get this thing out of here.
Right.
So yeah, they got it up, and that thing was huge. I think it was a 10.5 footer.
Yeah, it was huge. And then they kept the tension tight with the rope to the Ranger, and we were able to take some pictures with it, but both terrified.
Yes, that tail was bigger than we were.
Yeah. And after that, I think we were trying to get him released, and I just remember hearing you yell like, Cassie, and I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, she's in the water, what happened?
Yes.
But no, at that point you already had another one.
Yes, Dan called me over, and he already had a third one snagged. And so then I went over there to that one and reeled that one in, and yeah, and that one put up a little bit of a fight, and I was already so exhausted. I
Yes.
remember thinking, holy cow, guys, can we just take a little bit of a break?
Right.
But it was exciting.
It was.
And reeled that one in, and I was shaking so bad. And I don't know if it was just because I was exhausted or nervous or all of the above, probably.
Yeah.
But I was shaking so bad when he told me to shoot it. And shot that one, and
Got to take your warrior pictures.
yes, got to take the warrior pictures, and it was exciting.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we headed back to the camp, and we got to pull them out of the ranger, measure them.
Say 8'3".
Wow, 8'3".
And 7 something.
And they ended up being actually exactly what they said. I remember them
Yeah.
telling us, like, from the eye socket to the nose, in inches, that's usually about how many feet they were. And I was kind of thinking, that was kind of crazy.
8'2". Don't lie.
You guys are good.
Yeah, short on him. Pull his head straight, D.
7 foot.
7'1" and a half.
And sure enough, they were, I think, within a couple inches of what they thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And so we did. We got to take some more pictures with them. And we got to check this off of our bucket list of one of the coolest things we've done.
Yes, and I would totally do it again.
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
So it was
No,
fun.
it was really cool. Actually, so much that I ended up going back with my family the next year, and we were able to kill another gator. And all 5 of us we had caught so many gators that day, and I feel like we were getting them so close to the bank, and then the line would break, or we were so close to the bank, and they would unhook. So we were exhausted, but I think it was probably a lot longer of a day than what we had originally on our first hunt. But I tell you what, if you have the opportunity to go, I highly recommend checking out Townsend and Sons in Florida. And they are great to work with, very accommodating, made it so much fun.
It made it a great hunt.
Going on a gator hunt, gonna catch a gator. Shit, I think they both got it.
Whoa.
I like him.
You're still huffing. I got that on video. Up.
Hey, Uncle, when you need to switch.
Whenever someone's ready.
Dad, seriously. Let it. Ooh.
Right hand.
I can't even reel.
Yeah, please step down.
Dad, seriously, get in there.
I got you.
Do we?
Woo! Ooh!
Keep rolling.
Watch your finger. I'm scared.